Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Um, Appreciate all of you that watched my video yesterday and commented on it after the collapse of SVB Bank on Friday. Um, we, in my opinion, are heading into what are probably going to be the two most important weeks the financial markets have seen, and I can't remember how long, probably since 2008, to be quite honest with you. The market for the last 6 months or so has been hypersensitive to any inflation news as it is, and recently it's been like a yo-yo up and down every time you get bad inflation news. It goes up or it goes down rather, thinking the Fed is going to raise rates higher and vice versa. And usually when markets react, they tend to overreact. I don't know why it is, but that's been happening. And now we are setting ourselves up for, I'm calling it a 1-2 punch, a financial showdown. Everything is coming to a head. Especially now, it's amplified because of what happened last week with the two banks going down, Silvergate and then SVB Bank, the Silicon Valley Bank up in Northern California. Now people are starting to focus. We haven't seen a bank go bankrupt like this or go broke. In other words, they didn't have enough money to meet the depositor's obligations. So normally, you put $100 in a bank, you think you can go in there anytime and get that $100 out, right? Well, what if you went to the bank to get your $100 and there was no money there? Well, that's basically what happened. Earlier in the week, there was grumblings that the bank was having some financial problems because they were out on the street trying to raise around $2.5 billion. They were looking for investors to shore up the bank. Well, as soon as they were out there looking to raise those funds, some of the bigger customers and venture capital lenders out there called all their clients and said, "Hey, this bank is in trouble. If you need that money, you better go take it out." Well, they did, and so over the course of just a few days, they pulled so much money out. The bank on must have been sometime on Thursday realized they did not have enough money left anymore to cover the obligations. So on Friday, the FDIC took over the bank. I in my video yesterday, you'll see some more details on that. It's a good video, and down below in the comments below, I'm going to put a link to a video by a gentleman by the name of Chris Whalen, Whalen, and he's a kind of an expert in the banking industry. But it's a longer video, but it's a great video in the sense that there's no hyperbole. This guy is very, very knowledgeable, first of all, but he explains everything at a very basic level that most people are going to be able to understand. And he lays it out there what we're faced with the banking industry right now. And here's the bad news: SVB is probably not going to be the last that we hear of it. And it was a big bank. I mean, this thing was not just an average bank. So regional banks right now are really, and these mid-tier banks right now are really going to be coming under a lot of scrutiny over the next couple weeks. Tomorrow, I'm filming this video, by the way, on Sunday, March 12th at about 2 in the afternoon Central Time. Tomorrow, Monday, March 13th, is going to be a huge day because what we're going to have to see is will will leadership, either on the part of the Fed or the administration, come in and rest the financial industry's fears that if they are in a situation where their investments have lost a lot of money due to the interest rate increases, that the Fed is going to be there to help shore them up or provide liquidity if they need it, because I've already seen all over the place people urging people, go down to your bank and withdraw your money, get your money out now. Well, it's a bunch of BS. Yeah, there is a limit of $250,000 per account that the FDIC guarantees. However, I can't believe, unless things really went to hell much quicker than I think, that you're not going to get your money, okay? And most people don't have 250,000 in cash just sitting in the bank anyway. If they do, they're not too smart, in my opinion. Business, yes, that's another thing. So here's the 1-2 punch I'm talking about this week. The number one is the banking and financial industry fallout with what has happened with SVB Bank and SI Bank. We already know there's at least two other major regional banks that are in bad shape and maybe in the same situation. The short sellers are already all over them, and I'm sure their names are out there. I know the names of them. I'm not going to put it in this video because that's not something I want to do. You can find it if you need it. And in that video by Christopher Whalen, he says at least one of the names. The other name I didn't see in the video, but there's several of them. But I urge you, if you are interested in the subject, to watch that video. It's excellent. So we're going to have the banking and financial industry fallout. By the way, SVB Bank, Silicon Valley Bank, they employed 4,700 employees. Okay? When the FDIC takes over a bank, they're usually done within 30 to 45 days liquidating that bank. And at that time, guess what? Every single one of those employees are now unemployed. Okay? So think about it. It's sad. It really is sad, because you think of 4,700 people, that's 4,700 families each, so when you think about how this extends, think about that. In any city, all of a sudden, you go from being a great business to now all of a sudden gone. To me, it's just so hard to fathom. And like I said, it's not the only one. The other thing is the ramifications of this bank going under. It has such wide financial ramifications to the venture capital industry, these startup businesses that are in the area, the other businesses that may have had their deposits at this bank, who need to make payroll, who need to pay their suppliers, who need to buy inventory. It's just such a sad industry. And if we start to see more, the Fed needs this week, or the administration or Congress, someone needs to step up to the plate and get ahead of this thing. This is the mandate of the Fed, is to ensure that our financial industry is strong and stable. Yet, what are they doing? Sitting on their hands on this. And we need to do something because trust me, this can get out of control so fast. And if it trickles over into the stock market with all the algorithmic trading and everything else, the market is already so hypersensitive to any negative news that it's already overreacting. So you add this into the equation, it's bad news. And then, as you can see here, there's a string of super important financial news coming out over the next 2 weeks. I've listed them there on the screen. On Tuesday, the CPI, the Consumer Price Index numbers at 7:30 a.m. Eastern are released. Everybody was looking forward because, see, the FOMC, the Federal Open Market Committee, meets next week, okay? So they're looking at all of these numbers before they meet to get the latest financial data so that they know whether we're almost 100% positive they're going to increase rates. But everybody, it's baked in about a 0.25, a quarter point increase. Last week and the week before, with the Fed out there shooting their mouth out in front of Congress and everywhere else, they were starting to sound so hawkish that people started to think, well, maybe we're in store for 50 basis point, 0.5, 0.5% increase at this meeting, which wasn't baked in. And that's why you saw over the last couple weeks, I mean, the market was going strong, and then it was just like a balloon that popped. So that's Tuesday, okay? Tuesday, March 14th at 7, we got the CPI numbers. Then on Wednesday, the next day at 7:30 Eastern Time, we get the retail sales numbers and the PPI. Now, another important gauge. I don't have listed on the screen. There's also some bigger companies reporting earnings. FedEx, huge, even though it's not just because, see, when FedEx reports, okay, it not only shows how they're doing financially, but because they ship, okay, for so many companies, they have a great pulse and they know before anybody else what's happening. Okay, are sales down? If their numbers are way down, that means companies aren't selling as much. So it's not just FedEx when they release their numbers that it affects. It's a lot of other companies. Obviously, UPS it affects because they're in the same industry, but it talks about a lot of other companies as well. Then on Thursday at 7:30, we get jobless claims and housing starts. Another two super important, because we know that the interest rates are affecting the housing market. We know they are, whether the government wants to admit it. It seems like the government, mainly the Fed, wants to crash this housing market for some reason. I know prices have gotten out of hand, but that doesn't mean you destroy the market. Yeah, you can bring things down, but to crush it, the housing market is so important to this country, you cannot believe it. It's not only new homes that are being built, you have remodeling, you have people that are buying one home and moving up to the next, okay? And so that's an important thing. You start with one home. Then as your success grows, you move up, or your family grows, you move up to a little bigger house. And then you retire, and then you start the cycle all over. But in the meantime, you're fixing things, you're repairing your pipes. So I mean, there's so much that the housing impacts the overall economy. It's not even funny. So these next 2 weeks, first of all, they've got to do something about this financial mess with the banks, okay? Because trust me, we do not want to go through something like we went through in 2008. It was absolutely horrible. Most of you may not have been around, but it was destruction. We went from just beautiful economy, a lot of success, just similar to what we had, when COVID was just done. A lot of just everything was booming, and then all of a sudden it was like someone pulled the rug out, boom, crashing down. So take a look at the video down in the link if you have time to watch that video down below, and just keep your eye open over the next couple weeks. I'm not going to give you any financial advice, and I'm not saying the market is going to crash by any means. Even though you just don't know. We're looking at a couple of events that are big enough that they could cause not a crash, but a correction, a major correction, when all come together. And now with the algorithmic trading and everything else, you don't know, what all is going to get triggered. So the next 2 weeks are going to be super important. Don't sleep on this. If you have money in the market or major investments out there, you're going to want to hedge and protect them. I mean, this is not a joke. This is for real. I'm going to try and update you either later today or tomorrow as new information comes out. But thank you so much for watching the video. I'd be interested in hearing any comments you have. If you want to leave them below, I'll try and answer them if they're questions. But I really urge all of you to stay on top of this. It's super important, and it's going to affect your lives one way or another. So, and I hope it's in a positive way. So take care, everyone out there, and I sure appreciate you watching my videos. Bye-bye.